Are you in Ohio? Are you up north, in the middle?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio right now, about an hour north of Youngstown, about 45 minutes north of Akron.
You know now, and I'm from the southwest of there, but you know what Ohio represents for the country. I mean, that really, for some reason, everything happens there. It seems like in terms of a proxy for what's happening in the nation. What is it like on the ground there for this November election?
Well, I assume you're talking about politics and not Ohio State football, correct?
Ohio State football is looking good, and the Reds are looking good. And I know you're still mad at LeBron, but let's put all that.
I'm over it. I'm over it. But politically, you know, I think you're starting to see really a sea change happening here. We had the top race in the state is our gubernatorial race with Governor Strickland running against John Kasich. And about a couple weeks ago, Governor Strickland was down about 10 points, hadn't really spent a whole lot of money on TV ads. And since then, there's been a series of polls that come out. He's down 8, down 6, down 4, down 2, and one 2 days ago had him actually up 1 point. So people are really starting to pay attention and I think evaluate the candidates here.
Although, what's the latest poll you saw on Rob Portman?
Portman's up big. Well, he was up 7 the last I saw.
Really? I saw double digits I saw 20 at one point. No, so it's narrowed a little bit.
Yeah, the last one I saw. You know what? I haven't paid as much attention to that one as I have the governor's races. I'm doing good. We should be fine. We have a pretty good Democratic district, and we have an independent third-party candidate that's also a Tea Party person who's splitting the vote with the Republican at this point.
Is that right? Are you, in your campaign, running with the president or running away from the president?
I'm running on the agenda that we passed in Congress.
Health care, everything?
Yeah, everything. You know, I mean, we're Northeast Ohio. I mean, we needed health care reform 30 years ago when the steel mills closed and a lot of people 40 and 50 years old lost their jobs, lost their health care benefits, lost their pensions. And, you know, I mean, you're from Cincinnati. You've heard of, you know what's going on up here, and it has been for a long time.
That's like the other part of the universe compared to Cleveland,
the whole state, you know, the northern part of the state versus the southern part of the state are different, but we're heavy manufacturing. And, you know, I argue that if we would have had health care reform 30 years ago, we would have eliminated a lot of suffering in our community. So then,
with 60% of people polled wanting to repeal it, you would say, are you like Senator Kerry, that they're stupid, they just don't understand it? That's what he says, and I don't know what his constituents think of that, because they're all too stupid to understand what happened. But
all those Harvard, MIT graduates.
We've got some very intelligent people here that graduated from Youngstown State University. You know, after I think you explain this to folks, I think you got to cut through all of the nonsense that went through during the year-long debate that we had. I think people start to recognize whether it's pre-existing condition, extending the life of Medicare, closing the donut hole. You know, those things are very important. The tax cut for small businesses, those things are critical for us to explain to the American people, the small business people.
Congressman, I'd like to ask you a question on China, because I believe that you're one of the sponsors of the China currency bill. Now, someone asked me the other day, how many American jobs have been lost as a result of China unfairly keeping its exchange rate at a certain level? And I was completely unable to answer that question. I think it's impossible to quantify. Do you have an answer for that? And by leaning on China to let its currency appreciate at a faster pace, how many jobs do you think are really going to be created here?
Well, I know we've lost about 90,000 manufacturing jobs to China, I think, over the last few years. So it's been significant. And really the bottom line here is China's not playing by the rules. And we're all in this global trading system, and they are clearly manipulating their currency. And so we, as the leader of, you know, free market capitalism around the world, what undergirds that system is the rule of law, and we can't have one country not abiding by the rules. And then you start to see countries like Japan say, basically, well, if China's doing it, why can't we do it? And so there was an issue with the yen a week or so ago. And so we have to all be playing by the same rules. What will happen is there'll be a lot more businesses in Northeast Ohio, for example, that'll be a heck of a lot more competitive. I'll give you one example. There's a steel tubing manufacturer called Wheatland Tube. It's in Northeast Ohio, western Pennsylvania. Their raw material costs, as they start the process, is the same cost as the Chinese final product when it lands on our shores because of the advantage that they're getting. Wheatland Tube has been laying people off. So I think this will help us resuscitate manufacturing. But most importantly, we won't cede the ground to the green revolution that's coming with windmills, solar panels. If we don't take advantage of this new revolution that's coming, in which we can grab onto as far as manufacturing goes, then we're going to have no chance at resuscitating the middle class.
You know, Congressman, we have this other Ryan, Paul, on constantly, and there has not been equal time, not even close. So why have we want? I've enjoyed this, and I want you back on. So let's start try to make up some of the ground. Can we do that?
You can do that.
All right, and can I enlist you as the one MLB team in the playoffs from Ohio? Can I get you to be a Reds fan, or is that just you can't possibly do that?
I grew up with a Pete Rose poster in my bedroom.
Did you? All right.
Big red machine.
Perfect. All right. I'm